Which contest do you find the most challenging, and what kind of strategies do you use to prepare for that challenge? And we can talk a little bit more about your strategies in more detail in further questions, but just kind of a brief explanation of kind of what you do to prepare for that most challenging thing.
I find that all of them are pretty challenging. My strategies that I use to prepare myself are to get some Braille Challenge practice materials. If you know what those are, go on the website and get some of your own Braille Challenge practice materials. Read a lot of books, and paper and digital, and writing a lot of Braille.
It's Maddie again. I think speed and accuracy, I really love it. It's an exciting contest, but it's physically and mentally exhausting, especially in the finals rounds where you're brailing for 45 minutes straight. I think one strategy I use to not tire myself out too much is to keep at a constant pace. I'm not like trying to rush to meet any particular deadline. I'm just finding a speed that I'm comfortable with, but that's also the most efficient for me, that I'm brailing and listening, and I stick to it. I try to stay to a routine. I organize my workspace where I'm writing, where I put my paper, where I put my audio recording device, even where I put my water if I really need it. And also practicing in the days leading up to the event, making sure my Braille writing posture is good so I don't get hand and arm injuries from typing so much Braille, because that can happen.
I have to agree with Maddie that speed and accuracy is definitely the one I found the most challenging. But for me, it's less of a physical challenge and more of kind of almost a mental one, just because, you hear all these people around you like really kind of going really fast, and your mind immediately jumps to the fact that you're behind. But you have to keep in mind that the second word, obviously, the accuracy, is also a big deal. So it's just kind of learning to tune out the things that are happening around you and kind of really zone in on that test is something that's really helped me out a lot with kind of overcoming that. Is just kind of zoning out, because how fast other people are going doesn't matter as much if you can do it more accurately.
This is MaKenzie. I would say that the hardest test, definitely for me, is charts and graphs, because I think just my time management is just the hardest for me to make sure, to try to keep at a constant pace, because I tend to rush through things, which is not necessarily a great idea. And I think that some of the strategies that I use is just to prepare before the challenge, and just really focus instead of rushing through things and going back and thinking through the questions.
I think the hardest one for me is probably proofreading, because it is slower and I tend to move quickly through things. So I kind of will miss some of the mistakes and not catch them. So something that has helped me is mostly rereading and checking everything that I've done. Usually, I found that they give you less work, like more time than you need to finish your work. So I usually use any extra time I have to go back and review and make sure that I read everything carefully and caught everything I wanted to.
So this is Christopher, and I think it's probably charts and graphs, because that one, reading the graphs and answering the questions, is a lot of work. And you only got 45 minutes in nationals and 25 minutes at regionals. And so it's like, what I do to, combat the difficulty of that challenge, I take it one graph at a time. So I don't I refer back to the graph. So I might just do a really quick scan of the graph, then go straight to the questions. I don't spend hours just meditating over the graph.